For 2 long decades, Gwen Stefani and Gavin Rossdale were Hollywood's ultimate it couple. The power couple's lives were marked by chart-topping songs, electrifying performances, and a picture-perfect family with their 3 children. However, in 2015, it all came crashing down. The seemingly unbreakable duo sent ripples throughout their fan base when they announced their divorce. And at age 52, Gwen Stefani has finally opened up about what many had long suspected.
Allegations against Gavin Rossdale are explosive.
I was in shock. It felt like he was exposing me.
But before we delve into the superstar singer's recent revelations, let's rewind and take a look at the remarkable journey that brought Gwen Stefani to this point. Early life. Named after a stewardess in the 1968 novel Airport, Gwen Renee Stefani was born on October 3rd of 1969 in Fullerton, California. The singer's middle name, Renee, was a nod to the 1968 cover of Walk Away Renee by the Left Bank, a song young Gwen's parents adored. Folk music had played a huge role in the Stefani household, including not just Gwen, but also the singer's brother Eric, who would later be a key figure in her musical career. Gwen was one of 4 children living in a lively and close-knit family. The singer's father, Dennis, was an Italian-American who had made his mark as a marketing executive at Yamaha. Her mother, Patty Flynn, on the other hand, was an Irish-American who had a stint as an accountant before deciding to become a homemaker to focus on raising Gwen and her siblings. The Stefani household was always full of music and songs, from artists like Bob Dylan and Emmylou Harris, all thanks to her parents' deep love for folk music.
College was a guitar teacher, and my mom played the auto harp, and they were really super duper into folk music.
Now naturally, this rich musical environment nurtured Gwen's early passion for singing and performing, but what no one saw coming was just how successful young Gwen would turn out to be. Rise to stardom. Stefani's musical journey really took off thanks to her older brother Eric. Eric had gotten his sister hooked on two-tone music by bands like Madness and The Selector.
He would just force me to go in there and sing while he played the piano. I remember just sitting there watching the Brady Bunch and just going, dude, leave me alone. I'm trying to watch TV here.
And by the time that Gwen had turned 18 in 1986, Eric decided to invite her to sing for No Doubt, the ska band that he was then putting together. Right after joining the band, Gwen clicked with Tony Kanal, No Doubt's bassist, and the sparks were undeniable. But it wasn't until 1987 that the duo officially began dating. Gwen and Tony's relationship brought on a new energy to the band, adding an emotional depth that fans could resonate with. Stefani initially joined the band as a backup singer, but after the tragic death of their original lead singer John Spence, the singer stepped up as the lead vocalist. In 1991, No Doubt signed with Interscope Records, but it wasn't until 1992 that the band would release its self-titled debut album. Unfortunately, it didn't make very much of an impact due to the dominance of grunge music at the time, and despite the slow start, Stefani kept busy by lending her voice to a couple of songs for Sublime, another California rock band. With Gwen as the lead singer of the band, No Doubt began to slowly gain attention in the United States, and the persistence paid off with their third album, Tragic Kingdom. Released in 1995, the album had brought the band into the spotlight with the hit Don't Speak, which had topped the Hot 100 Airplay year-end chart in 1997. Don't Speak was actually inspired by Gwen and Tony's breakup in '94 after they had been together for about 7 years. It was a tough time for the rising star since Tony had been her first boyfriend, and despite the ending of the romantic relationship, they kept things professional and continued to make great music together. At that point, No Doubt had firmly established themselves in the music industry with Tragic Kingdom, which was eventually nominated for a Grammy, and Gwen, on the other hand, was slowly becoming a household name. The rising superstar left college for 1 semester. At that point, No Doubt had firmly established themselves in the music industry with Tragic Kingdom, which was eventually nominated for a Grammy, and Gwen, on the other hand, was slowly becoming a household name. The rising superstar left college for 1 semester to tour for Tragic Kingdom, never returning when touring ended up lasting 2.5 years. It would be on this tour that Stefani met the man that she would go on to describe as her biggest blessing, but little did she know, that man in question would also turn out to be her biggest curse. That was Gavin Rossdale. Stefani and Rossdale first crossed paths in '95 during a holiday concert for Los Angeles radio station K-Rock. and at the time, No Doubt was riding high on their breakthrough album Tragic Kingdom, while Rossdale's band Bush was making waves with their debut album 16 Stone. The pair met backstage at the concert, and despite their different musical styles, they had found common ground as musicians dealing with the pressures of fame. Rossdale was completely mesmerized by Gwen's beauty and knew that he had to see the charismatic singer once again. The Bush frontman organized a party in New Orleans, hoping that Gwen would show up, and like he had hoped, she did, as promised, and the pair ended up spending the evening together. It was during that first date that the new couple shared their first kiss, and the next morning they had what Gavin would later call a cute, embarrassed, sober meetup. That night, and the time the duo spent together, would help to strengthen their bond and lay the foundations for their relationship, which eventually led to the stars' marriage in 2002. However, like many relationships in the entertainment industry, the duo's journey together would be far from smooth. In the early days, the two singers faced the challenge of a long-distance romance. Gwen was based in the United States, while Rossdale was based in the UK, so the two had to juggle time zones and busy touring schedules just to make it work. Despite the hurdles, the connection was strong enough to handle the distance. They often appeared together at events, and their public appearances only fueled the buzz around their relationship. The bond of the superstar couple was a mixture of passion and mutual respect, with both supporting each other's careers while handling their own demands. In January of 2002, Rossdale proposed to Gwen in a private and intimate setting, and a couple of months later they tied the knot September the 14th of 2002 in a beautiful ceremony at St. Paul's Covent Garden in London. Things were going rather smoothly for the young couple throughout the first 2 years of marriage. However, one day in 2004, everything took a drastic turn when the Bush frontman found out about the teenage daughter that he had fathered and never known about. Daisy Lowe was born in 1989 to Pearl Lowe, a singer and fashion designer who was also one of Gavin's friends. And for years, friends and family thought that Daisy's father was Pearl's then-partner Bronner Handwerger, a holistic fertility specialist. Gavin was even named Daisy's godfather, completely unaware of the true and real connection. When Daisy was about 14, the young model began questioning her parentage after realizing that her blood type didn't match neither her mother or her father. Curious and a bit confused, the young model would ask her mother for a paternity test. It turns out that Pearl had engaged in a one-night stand with Rossdale during a rough patch with Bronner, and she agreed to the test. The results became shocking to say the least. Not just to the singer, but to the entire world, revealing that Daisy, who had been his goddaughter, was actually his biological daughter. The news that first broke in 2004 became a huge shock for Stefani. Finding out that her husband had a child from a past relationship, especially one he didn't even know about, was a lot for the No Doubt singer to handle. The situation wasn't helped by the fact that it all came at a time when Stefani and the Bush frontman were trying to start a family of their own. But despite it all, the singer showed incredible support for her husband and his newfound daughter. Given their public profiles, the revelation got a lot of media attention, but both Rossdale and his daughter Daisy handled it with grace, focusing on their relationship instead of any kind of public drama. Over time, the media interest would fade, giving them space to grow their bond more privately. Later that year, Stefani decided to venture out on her own with a solo effort called Love Angel Music Baby. It turned out to be a massive hit. And over the years, the singer's solo songs have become streaming giants. As the latest stats go, Gwen's solo tracks have gathered 1.8 billion streams across different platforms, and some of the superstar's biggest hits include Holla Back Girl, The Sweet Escape, and Rich Girl. On the flip side, Rossdale kept the rock spirit alive with Bush and tried his hand at doing solo work, which included his album Wanderlust. While the rock star's solo efforts didn't quite match the success of Bush, it still goes to show that the singer-songwriter had plenty of creative energy. Together, Stefani and Rossdale were a high-profile couple in the music scene. They combined star power and unique styles, which made them a favorite amongst fans and the media alike, cementing their status as one of music's most iconic couples. Away from all of the drama, the couple worked on building their life together while blending personal moments with professional collaborations. A few years into their marriage, the power couple began their own family, having 3 sons: Kingston in 2006, Zuma in 2008, and Apollo in 2014. Their family life was always in the public eye, with the couple trying to balance their careers while being parents. Even with their busy schedules, they made sure to support each other's careers. Gwen's solo career soared, while Gavin kept Bush going and doing solo projects of his own. The two had somehow managed to juggle everything, showing how committed they were to each other and their family. It wasn't always easy, but the star duo made it work because they truly cared about supporting each other and giving their children a loving home. However, in 2015, that would all come crashing down, and this time in ways that nobody could have imagined. Like many high-profile relationships, the couple's marriage had its ups and downs, but things really hit the fan in 2015 when Gwen Stefani filed for divorce from her husband of 13 years, citing irreconcilable differences. Fans and the media were stunned, since the couple had always seemed to be so solid, and as people began digging, rumors about the real reason for the split started to spread. The first reason being an alleged affair that Rossdale had had with the couple's nanny, Mindy. Apparently, that affair came to light when one of the couple's other nannies stumbled upon explicit text messages and photos on the family's iPad, which was synced to Rossdale's phone. These messages included plans for secret meetups and nude photos of Mindy. As soon as the rumors began flying, fans started pulling up pictures of the star couple's nanny, and what made the entire thing more bizarre was the similarities between the nanny and Gwen Stefani herself. Not only did she have a similar natural appearance to the No Doubt singer, but she also dressed like her, complete with bold red lipstick, edgy outfits, and platinum blonde hair. Finding out about the affair was devastating for Stefani. The singer described the months after the discovery as months of torture. The aftermath took a huge emotional toll on the mother of 3, not only because her marriage was ending, but because she also had to deal with all of the public attention. Even though Gwen Stefani never outright confirmed the rumors, she did mention in interviews that only a few people really knew what happened. Gavin initially denied the rumors, but eventually had to confess to his wife, and in turn, it put even more strain on their already rocky relationship. In later interviews, he would admit that the ending of their marriage was his most embarrassing moment. The entire situation only made things even more difficult for Stefani, who was already dealing with so much.
During that time period, I felt really like I was down all the way. Like you don't go down lower than that. You know what I mean? It was rock bottom.
The superstar couple finally settled their divorce and reached an agreement on how to move forward and take care of their children. Rossdale had agreed to an uneven split of their assets and money. Even though the couple didn't have a prenup, the rock star took less than half of what they had earned during their 13-year marriage. The former couple also decided to share the earnings from their Beverly Hills home, with Stefani keeping the 2 other houses in Los Angeles, while Gavin ended up with 4 houses in Europe. The star singer kept the rights to her creative works with No Doubt and both of her fashion lines that she had began. And as for their children, the couple agreed to joint legal custody. Around the time the affair and divorce were unfolding, the singer and songwriter had joined the show The Voice as a coach in 2014 for its 7th season. Gwen Stefani was still dealing with the emotional fallout, but trying to keep up a public persona and professional commitments as a coach. Unexpectedly, though, she had found a silver lining when she at least expected it. Working as a coach on The Voice in 2015 meant that the singer, and now single mother, had to work with 3 other coaches, one of those being country star Blake Shelton. Stefani and Shelton first met in April of 2014, and back then the two were still married to other people, Stefani to Gavin Rossdale and Shelton to Miranda Lambert. And so their first interactions were strictly professional, but then they quickly hit it off and became great friends. By the summer of 2015, the pair were going through their own divorces. Blake announced his split from Lambert in July of 2015, and barely a month later, Stefani filed for divorce from Gavin Rossdale. Beyond all of the gossip that suggested alleged affairs in the couple's marriage, the ex-couple had some real differences that deeply affected their relationship. Shelton was ready to settle down and begin a family, while Lambert was all about continuing to grow her stellar career. The two were constantly on the road and often apart, and that made things even more difficult. With everything happening at the same time, Stefani and Shelton shared experiences of going through high-profile divorces that had brought a mutual understanding to their friendship. The pair both knew exactly what it felt like to have their personal lives under the microscope, and that mutual understanding had brought them even closer. Even though it wasn't planned, the coach's connection slowly turned into a romantic one, and by November of 2015, the rumors began to fly when the pair were spotted together over the Halloween weekend. Naturally, people had opinions, and some fans gave Stefani a hard time for moving on only 3 months after her divorce, but before long, the couple confirmed that they were actually dating. The superstar explained that neither of them had planned for it to happen. It just felt right because they understood each other so well. Their first big public outing as a couple was at the Vanity Fair Oscar party in February of 2016, and ever since then, the stars have been open about their relationship, sharing moments on social media and in interviews. The chemistry of the duo is rather clear, and they're always showing support for each other both on and off the screen. After several years of dating, Shelton then proposed to Gwen Stefani in October of 2020, and the couple tied the knot July 3rd of 2021 in a beautiful ceremony at Shelton's Oklahoma ranch. The wedding was a private affair attended by close family and friends and officiated by their friend and voice host Carson Daly. In the end, it could be said that the relationship is proof that you can find love and support in the most unexpected of places. Their journey from colleagues to friends to life partners has been both heartwarming and inspiring.